Hi, this is Robert Clinkenbeard with the Commercial Landscaper Podcast. We're going to take 20 minutes of your life to deliver some amazing content from accomplished leaders and business owners to provide you with some value to help you scale your business, become a better leader, and push yourself out of your comfort zone into something which is going to stretch you. We really hope you enjoy these shows, and we really encourage you to like and share with your friends and network, which is only going to help us get a wider audience and improve our industry. I'm super excited to announce that in 2023, we're going to be announcing new partnerships, digital courses, some rebranding, and your opportunity to be coached by one of our many industry leaders, experts, or coaches. Cheers, everyone. Hi, this is Robert Clinkenbeard with the Commercial Landscaper Podcast. I'm really excited to be joined today by Mark Lucas. Mark, thanks for joining the show today.
Great. Thanks for having me, Robert. Really looking forward to this.
Cool. Well, no, I appreciate you. I know you're a busy guy. You're traveling all around the country, so I appreciate you spending a bit of time. We have listeners from Europe, Australia, all US, Canada. So could you maybe why don't you tell the listeners a little bit about your background?
Yeah. So Robert, I've been in the green industry now. I hate to say it, but it's going on 40 years, right? So
Wow.
came out of school, New Hampshire, with a degree in horticulture, and went to Davy Tree just for a brief period, and then on to Brickman, which is a large national landscape company based down here in I was based in Maryland, so I spent 30 years with Brickman at various levels around the country, and came on to Rainbow Ecoscience about almost 7 years now. So been working here with this group, but always in the landscape and industry, and primarily landscape focused.
Awesome. Yeah, it was such a great industry, and obviously with spending that many years in the business, you're super well connected and you know the business. So congratulations for that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a wonderful career.
Cool. So tell me, what is Rainbow Ecoscience?
So we're a company based out of Minnesota, and so we primarily have been in the tree care aspect of the world, making products for the tree care professional, mostly on the insects and disease solving issues in that world. But we also make and develop products for the landscape professional. So we've been working on some plant growth regulators and some of those things, and now we have some herbicides. But really just working with the tree care and landscape professional, trying to solve some of their challenges with either pests or in the landscape world. It's been on the labor side probably, and our quality side with shrubs and weeds and those types of things.
Cool. I know there's been a lot of glyphosate's been in the news recently, lawsuits, blah blah blah. I mean, how are you navigating through? I mean, it seems to be a bit of a minefield to try to get through that public perception.
Yeah, so that's a new world for us. I mean, weed control is a big part of the defects that show up on sites that people are trying to manage. And glyphosate has been around and is really the go-to product for so many, and it's a wonderful product, and we used it for many years. You just see on the news nowadays a little bit at nighttime. People looking for alternatives, perhaps. So we're trying to come up with. We came up with some alternatives this year, and there's others that are trying to go into that market. And what else is out there that might be effective and just a different conversation. But glyphosate's in the Hall of Fame probably as one of the best, if not the best,
right,
products ever developed. And just some people are weary of it now for various reasons, but.
Right.
Just really is, it's what you see on TV, unfortunately.
Yes, unfortunately. Yeah, there's so many things on TV that are not necessarily should be there.
Yeah.
So we've obviously experienced over the last 3 years a lot of things shifting. You've had COVID, you've had changes in the economy, travel restrictions, changes in technology. I feel as though technology is like exploding right now. Things are happening, lightning speed. How is that changing how Rainbow Ecoscience are operating?
Yeah, so for us, we're trying to help with solutions. So, ultimately, to boil it down, landscape professionals are trying to help solve customers' defects on their sites, whether it be tall grass, weeds, hairy shrubs. So it's managing, kind of those defects in the landscape, and we're just trying to, provide some solutions, for those. And there are many out there that have been around for years. Plant growth regulators is really the one we've kind of focused on because we were using plant growth regulators in the tree world, and we've just modified some of those for the landscape and the shrubs and ground covers, that type of a thing. And now, the other big defect that people are really looking at in the landscape are the weeds. So how can we solve weed issues, in different ways? So some of those things, and then I think another step that Rainbow is really looking at is how do we how can we help plants live longer, in an ever increasing urban space, right? What can we do to help them, healthier and withstand pressures from lack of water or disease or pest, those types of things, and what can we do to help in that manner? So we're looking at all of those types of buckets in the landscape world that we can maybe help.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's all. I mean, you touched on two great points there where, when I hear in the news that we have, 10 million job vacancies out there and companies are looking for, labor to, fill those positions. I mean, it sounds as though you're providing some potential solutions where a landscape company can go in and save some labor by using some products to either slow growth down or cover the weed control more. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean that's something that, like I said, I've been in this for a long time, and we were using some plant growth regulators back, certainly in the late '80s and '90s even, and some were more effective than others, and we didn't stick with them when I was using them. Just we had some that were hard to apply or needed certain timing and or discolored some plants. But technology is advancing, and there are safer, easier to use, with more predictable results, I would say. But we have to advance technology, and everyone's, at least the companies that we're working with, they're embracing technology, whether it be ways to measure properties, or there's new battery. Batteries have come a long way. Robotics are still a few years away, but people are embracing those, and plant growth regulators are just another form of technology, is the way I look at it, right? So we have to embrace. Not any one thing is going to really make or break, I think, a company, but if you're involved in a little bit of all of these things, those that are learning and implementing and advancing the fastest are the ones that are going to get and stay ahead, I think.
Right, that makes sense.
Yep.
Sense. I don't remember when I had my company, we I suppose dabbled in plant growth regulators, and I think one of the biggest challenges that we had was, I think, just the lack of expertise in our staff, just understanding it, not understanding the timing, not keeping on top of things. Talk to me about first of all, the benefits of doing that, but as you say, it sounds as though some of the products are beginning to change, have evolved since then.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not as simple as using a plant growth regulator isn't as simple as handing someone a bottle and saying, here's the rate, spray it, and good luck. So that was one of the attractions when I came onto Rainbow, was we're a company that really doesn't function that way. Is we really work with the team or the branch or the company to help show how to implement that, physically being out in the field with you to measure and to go over timing and some of those types of things, because it can be challenging. But with the advances that are going on now, and with some instruction, that it's something that companies around the country are able to just make a become an SOP within their organization. So it is advancing. It isn't as simple as just, hey, here you go, read the label and good luck. It does take, application knowledge, know-how, plant material awareness, all of those types of things. But when those are all implemented well, you can get, some excellent results, both from an appearance standpoint, from a quality standpoint, a client experience standpoint, and from a ROI standpoint. So all of those things can have a big benefit.
That's awesome. Do you have any, put you on the spot here, any examples of where you've maybe seen some type of a ROI on labor savings?
Yeah, so we've done a number of studies, and with the shrub growth regulator, ours is called TrimTech, but there's others out there. But we're seeing that it has the biggest advantages, I would say, from the middle of the country south. So let's say I'm in the mid-Atlantic right now, Maryland. So, from here south, those that are pruning shrubs 3 to 10 times a year. The more you're pruning, the bigger the ROI. Those companies that are doing this on a standard, across a branch or across a company, anywhere between, I'm going to say 35 to 70% ROI is kind of what we're seeing. And that may come in the form of labor savings, but it may come in the form, Robert, as you're aware, some companies just aren't staffed enough, right? They might be short 2, 3, 4, and this covers up some of those things that are missing,
Right.
from a crew size. So sometimes it's labor savings, sometimes it's just, we're able to get things done that we weren't able to get done before, thankfully, and not sacrifice quality.
Right. No, that's great. That makes sense. Now, you talked about better advancement with either training or just I suppose onboarding potential clients rather than just dropping off a bottle and leaving. What type of things are Rainbow doing just to make sure those products are being successful?
Yeah, well, we have a number of things, both from traditional sheets that are in both English and Spanish on how to implement these things. But like I said, we physically go out and work with the team with preferably your equipment, but we'll bring our own, and we'll go through the process of mixing, calibrating, application, and go over what's going to make this successful, and then also go over what will make this not work in its scenario. And then we go over, it's not just on shrubs, at least, it's not just the application, it's the management afterwards. Like, so how do we take care of the plants that have been treated with a plant growth regulator? How do we prune these? Because it's a little bit different. Sometimes it might just be tipping versus full shearings, for instance. And then we also developed on this one particular product, we actually developed a certification program. So somebody can, go online and watch a video or a PowerPoint or two, take some tests, and actually get certified in this, because we feel it's important for those that are doing the investment to know that their team that's undertaking this, this new technology truly understands and is going to get the success that we all want.
Right. Yeah. And where do you see the resistance? Because I think, would I be right in saying that plant growth regulators were mainly in the golf industry, and there's probably some skepticism that there's more stuff available for landscaping. What are some of the resistance points you're seeing?
Yeah, so on the turf growth regulators, for years, we tried some. Embark was out there, Embark Light, and the big one was Primo. And in the landscape world, our studies were that Primo was just too expensive at the time. This is years ago, and it was really super for the golf course industry, and it's an A+ product. Since that's come off patent, the pricing per acre has really come down, and there's several products out there. We carry one, but there's several out there that are more affordable And, that coupled with the labor rates really have risen in the landscape world, doubled or tripled in the past, 20 years, let's say. So what it costs to mow an acre nowadays is tripled. And, if you can attack that with a plant growth regulator, you might get some suppression and be able to buy yourself, a little bit of time. And the spring crunch for many, April, May, June, it's hard to keep up. And if you are short labor, which many are, that's when some of those, the east and the turf side, the defects show up, and you're crushed. So you can go out to a site and maybe you can accomplish, 3 things, but there's 4 or 5 things that need to be done. And what don't you do today? You have to kind of make a decision.
Yeah.
So I think the turf growth regulators, A, they're super effective, and B, the pricing models have come down that the ROI is making it more affordable for the landscape professional to at least consider them. And maybe it's not the entire turf, but maybe it's parts of the turf or certain sites that might benefit from this.
Yeah, I've actually had a couple, 2 or 3 phone calls recently, and people talking about, that spring rush, they've not got enough labor.
Yeah.
They're fighting quality issues. And yes, on one hand, they might say, maybe I don't want to spend extra on chemicals, but at the same time, if they're getting cancer from jobs, that product becomes priceless.
Yeah, it's it's relatively new. I haven't seen it widespread in the landscape world, but I do have, I'm working with several companies that are using it more and more. And they're what's normally a 7-day mow, they might be able to get by with a 10-day mow, and without sacrificing quality. Or, maybe there's some islands that are tough to hit because there's so many cars, and they can take care of these islands in a different way, or a hillside or a median that's, safety issues. So there's places, I think, to use this wisely. And it's going to, I think, increase just because, like you said, labor's not getting any better.
Right.
Meaning the supply is just, it's tough.
Yeah, well, for sure. Where do you see either the products, the chemical industry, just that chemical treatment going in the future?
Yeah, so we really, I think we're going to see more and more with turf growth regulators for sure. Plant growth regulators are going to become commonplace for shrubs, I think, more and more, that people become accustomed to them, and I think they will start becoming more SOP. Just, with noise and safety and all of those things, it's going to be something that people start to embrace. The turf growth regulators, I think, are going to help, where possible, reduce the need for some labor and to, sustain margins without sacrificing quality. So I see that going. I'd like to see more with the, there are things like, trimming and weed eating that are, they're necessary, but they occupy a big deal of time. There's not a lot of products out there really addressing that. And it's, it can be, 10, 15, 20% of your operation in some worlds might be, things like string trimming and weed eating.
Right.
And if you could minimize and reduce those things, that would be, and there's a lot of safety goes along with some of those things as well, with rocks flying and windows cracking, and, just that constant barrage that you get from a weed eater. So I see developments, hopefully, in those worlds over time. Those are some of the bigger areas. And then, I think with, we're working on products that, on the plant health care side, I think ones that are more, environmentally responsible or friendly, whether it be soil injection, bark sprays, or something where you don't have to, spray a 20-foot tree, and you can do it. You can take care of a pest without sacrificing, some of the beneficials that are out there, and some of those things that we all want, right? So I see that more development in that time frame, and easier for the landscape professional to adopt and use. You don't need special big equipment and those types of things.
Yeah. I mean, that big equipment and some guys and coveralls just doesn't go down well publicly.
Right.
So
Yeah.
the
No.
more discreet you can be and just the more environmentally friendly you can be, that helps a lot.
Yep. That's kind of what we all see and what we are about as well as a company and some of our products we're developing.
Cool. So I've got a question for one more question. You've obviously been in the business for 40 years. You've seen a lot. You've been to different companies. You're involved with different companies. I mean, what are some of those life lessons that you can pass on to, maybe a new up and coming company? Maybe it's somebody who's relatively new to the business and just trying to learn through technology, products. There's a lot of acquisitions going on, so it's just a lot going on. So what's your life lessons you can pass on?
Yeah, so I think back to some of my earlier Brickman days, and we had some great training. Dick and Scott Brickman were they were all about the companies that are learning the fastest are going to survive. And we spent some time out at McDonald's headquarters, for instance. And one of the things what struck us and the takeaway there was, we had branches around the country, but we had inconsistency. And that's one of the things I see as I go around, that, whether it be companies or branches, that when you go to McDonald's you live in Greenville, I live in Maryland. A McDonald's hamburger is the same whether it's in Greenville or it's there. And the training site at McDonald's had a picture of a hamburger with 3 circles, 3 swirls of ketchup and 2 of mustard and a couple pickles, and that's how they learn. So they put that up, and everyone that does it the same way. And so if you can, I guess what I'm getting at is, everything that we do is a process, but you have to have, the same experience, whether it's a company, if it's your branch in Greenville, and they have to have the same experience elsewhere. And I see companies that are missing it, just aren't able to have that simple, whether we all should be planting flowers, whatever that system is, the same way in your company, on each crew. So it doesn't have to be a branch, it can just be a crew, but each crew should be planting flowers the same way within your branch. So it's getting down to that training, and whatever that method is, or that methodology is, you should all be doing it the same way. There shouldn't be variation within your team or within your company. Mm-hmm. So we really worked on that. And then the second, I think, lesson out of that was the results that you are getting are perfectly designed to give you the results that you're getting. That if you want different results, that you need to look upstream, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the things that we worked on, is don't be dissatisfied with the results, because your system is designed to give you those results. If you want different results, then you need to change something within your system. Yeah. And that was one of the, it's just a lesson that sticks with me. And I shake my head when people, like, how did we get here? Well, it's your system. That's how it happened.
And that gets back to, learning, looking for new technology, listening to different thought leaders, YouTube. There's so much change in the way you learn these days compared to 30, 40 years ago. But I think a lot of people stick to the traditional methods. So I think just keeping your eyes open and looking around makes complete sense.
Yeah. And we're changing faster than we ever have, thankfully, as an industry. So I'm seeing great advances, as you're seeing even faster. So there's a lot out there available, more available now than ever. And so I think our industry is learning at a faster rate than it's ever learned. And there's a lot of great ideas and thought leaders out there that are available more so than ever. And you're one of them, Robert, bringing this to the world, right?
I'm trying.
So one by one. Yeah, no, that's it's wonderful to have opportunities to listen and to work with people like you, because we can all learn faster that way.
Oh, cool. Well, thank you, Mark. Mark, how do people get in touch with you just to learn more about your products, your company?
Yeah, so it's Rainbow Ecoscience .com is our website. I'm available at mlucas at rainbowecoscience.com. I'm sorry. mlucas at Rainbow Ecoscience.
Okay.
And my phone number is 410-708-4198 if anybody wanted to chat more about any of our products.
Yeah, cool. And yeah, I'm just to confirm that, mlucas at rainbowecoscience.com.
Yes.
So you get hold of Mark there. Mark, really appreciate your time today. Thanks for educating people. Hopefully people will follow up with you just to learn about the science, the products, maybe even just tap into your 40 years experience. So really appreciate everything you do.
Great. Thank you so much, Robert. Enjoyed the conversation.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you very much. Take care.
Okay.
Hopefully that was pure, dead brilliant for you today, and you got some great takeaways for your business or your leadership role. This is Robert Clinkenbeard, and we'd love to get you and your friends to join us in our future journey. So please subscribe through the various podcast channels or visit thecommerciallandscaper.com or brucewilsoncompany.com and check out some more information there. Anyway, hopefully you all have a pure, dead, brilliant day. Cheers, everyone.